Bouwmeester keeps it in, puts it to the middle. PRB with it now. Pass for Stastny. Stastny backhand pad save by Talbot. Petrangelo's shot is blocked. Tarasenko with it now. Nugent Hopkins and Letestu up front. Gryba and Nurse on the blue line. Steen steps into a shot, and Talbot makes the save. The one brings it in. Yashkin stops in the corner. Perron behind the net. Berglund out in front. Lets a shot go. Talbot the save.
Nice play there by the St. Louis Blues, Berglund and Perron, but a good save by Cam Talbot.
Sekera with 2 points in his last 2 games coming in. Here's a giveaway backhand. Stopped by Talbot. Colton Parayko works it across the line, but a chance for Everly on the counterattack against Joel Edmondson. Drops it to Lucic. Fires a shot. Scores. Milan Lucic ties the game with his 2nd straight goal in 2 games. He's got 14 on the season, and we've got a 1-1 tie.
Mr. Work in the neutral zone. The back check by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins helps turn this. And then they're on their way. Jordan Everly always poised with the puck and then shoot the puck. You love it where guys shoot the puck. From his reaction, Jake Allen's reaction, I'm not sure if he was screened or it was tipped. It doesn't look like it, but it looks he right away turns his head at his defenseman. So
it back for Laterra. Down low with Bertuzzo and a big hit on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And now Lucic and Bertuzzo drop the gloves. Lucic did not like that hit on Nugent-Hopkins. Lucic and Bertuzzo, 2 big men throwing rights, and they wrestle each other to the ground. Gives it to Draisaitl. Draisaitl quickly gets it back again. Here's McDavid's shot, and Allen comes across. The puck is still alive. Allen scrambles back in front, not in time. Mark Letestu on the doorstep makes it a 2-1 game. A power play goal for the Oilers, and they take the lead.
The puck was a little slow getting over to Connor McDavid, but he gets the best he can on the shot, but then he stays with it, makes a smart play. Very methodical power play for the Edmonton Oilers with the 5-on-3. The puck's a little slow getting across, but then the puck just sat between the pads of Jake Allen, and a heads-up play by McDavid. Mark Letestu does the smart thing as well. The puck was bouncing. There's the puck just sitting there. Legs splayed.
Comes to hard-fought, scrappy type wins. Was that one of them? And in your mind, was that kind of what you're going to have to expect heading into this postseason run here?
Yeah, I think so. I think as we go along, I think games will start to tighten up even more, and be a lot like that, where there's no. I mean, you got to take advantage of your opportunities. Obviously, penalty kill, power play plays a big role coming down the stretch. So it was a pretty gutsy win by us tonight, and just got to keep that going now.
How well did you guys hold that? Obviously, you get the win, but in your mind, how well did you guys hold that 2-1 lead?
Well, I mean, we still had a lot of help from Talbs back there. He's definitely a steady presence for us, and we have a lot of confidence in him, and made some big saves again. But I think we did a pretty good job of shutting it down late, but maybe can still do a better job of getting on the forecheck, getting some offensive time when they're putting a lot of pressure on us like that.
What can you say about the way you guys played on this trip, going 3-3?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think I mean, we played some tough teams for sure, and came out 500 on it, and maybe had the chance to be a little above that, but we got some big points, and we got to carry some confidence now into a big homestand.
Just finally, mid-game trade, Brandon Davidson, a guy you've known for quite a while. Just what's it going to be like to not have him around, and to welcome in David Desharnais to this team?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough part of the league, but I mean it happens. I've gotten to know Davey really well over the past few years here, so tough to see him go. But on the other side of things, hopefully David can come in and be a big part of the team and help out with the face-offs and maybe some penalty kill and stuff like that.
He's a veteran guy as well.
Mark, just to get that win, to end this trip on a positive note and the way you guys did it, what can you say to that?
Yeah, this was a tough trip. It seemed like we were catching every team on a burner too. So to come away 500, not exactly the way we drew it up, but to do it that way, stay in a nice position as far as the playoffs going into a month where we're at home a lot, I think was important. And this is a tough building, but we've got a couple wins here now. And those are going to be big points come the end of the year. So we're real happy with the win.
Is it fair to call that type of game a playoff type game, or closer towards what would be a playoff type game?
Yeah, I thought the grinding part of it, the physicality was getting closer to playoffs. The way you score goals is probably much like a playoff game. Like Lucha's goes off a stick, mine's a power play goal. It wasn't free flowing with a lot of chances. You had to kind of make the most of what you got. So in that sense, it was had a playoff atmosphere, but we expect it to get even tighter and more physical yet.
How about bending but not breaking defensively and building that lead for basically 2 periods entirely?
Yeah, well, it's we've lost a couple tie games late previous to this, so to play in front's nice, but there wasn't always. It wasn't always easy. There was some nervous moments there. Cam had to hold the fort. Guys were blocking shots, doing some real dirty things to hold on to a win. So we're happy with the 2 points. It's a good way to end the road trip, and hopefully it continues when we get home.
Finally, mid-game trade, Brandon Davidson goes to Montreal. You guys get David Desharnais. What's that news to you like?
I hate this time of year. You got to say bye to some friends, some guys that have battled really hard to get us to this point, and Davey's been a part of that. For right now, I'm kind of going to mourn the loss of a friend. I think he's taking the flight home with us. We'll get to kind of talk to him then. And when the new guy gets here, he'll become the new teammate, probably a new friend. But for now, it feels bad to lose a guy that put in a lot of work for us. But it's the business side of the game, and that's just the way it works sometimes.
Power play or just
finding ways to win games. Is that a game you might not win a year or two ago, regardless of the talent on the ice, just the way you fall down early, and this game you found a way to come back?
We would have had more doubt in the group coming into the game at the back end of a road trip, but we have some good veteran leadership, some youthful legs, and a desire to compete. And when you have those three things, you give yourself a chance to win. It was a grinding, heavy, hard game. And at the back end of a 11 or 12-day road trip, sometimes those don't go your way. But we stuck with it. We had good goaltending. Special teams, especially on the power play, scored us a big one. And we'll get home now and try and make some hay there.
Can you assess the trade during the game, what you gave up and what you get in return with Montreal?
Well, yeah, it's certainly a strange situation. With us playing the game as it's happening or occurring. I'm not sure if any of our players knew, and I'm glad that was the case until after. But, what are we giving up? We're giving up a quality individual, a good person that competes his butt off every night. He's had a tough go of it early in the year because of his injuries, but he fought back, and he's starting to find his game now. And he's a quality NHL defenseman, so he'd be missed on the back end. But in turn, we thought we had some depth there now, and we're looking for a forward. Maybe somebody in that third-line center, fourth-line center role that could help us. And David has some experience, obviously, in the league. Been on some really good teams and played in Canada, played in an environment where there's a lot of pressure. So he'll be very welcomed in Edmonton, and we're happy to have them coming in.
Just to pick up.
How huge was it to pick up these 2 points tonight?
Well, they're big. We're down to 18 games, and every 2 points creates a little more separation between the teams behind you, and we're working hard to catch teams in front of us. So I think it's still a little bit too early to start talking about magic numbers and scoreboard watch. Yet the 2 points were really important in the season series against this team. It makes a huge difference when you have the ability to take 6 points from a team that's on your tail.
I just want to go back to your question before with Desharnais. The playoff runs he's had in the pressure cooker that is Montreal. I'm not saying that's a unique skill set, but given where this team is and the playoffs fast approaching, how crucial of an ingredient is it for a player like that to bring?
Well, if we're fortunate enough to get there, which we're going to do everything we possibly can, and that's obviously our goal, but if we're fortunate enough to get there, he has some experience. Our team isn't loaded with a lot of playoff games. Luch, is by far the most experienced playoff guy. But after that, it falls off fairly quick. And to have one more guy around that's been through it, that's felt that pressure a little bit, that's dealt with it in a Canadian market, certainly will help us in the locker room, and I'm sure it will on the ice as well.
I'm going to try and get Brandon Venture. Thank you. Thanks, Tony.
Just a lot of mixed emotions, as you could expect. I think that I'm going to miss a lot of things here in this place, and at the same time, it's also very exciting too. So I think that a lot of mixed emotions right now, but I think for the best, or this will be for the best.
Did Bergevin call you or text you during the game? Any communication?
Not a whole lot right now, just kind of sorting out the little things, but just working on flights and stuff like that. But for the most part, they've reached out to me, made a good conversation, and discussed a few things, and I think things are looking like it's going to be great in Montreal.
It's obvious when teams are looking to add players, somebody's got to go, but you were probably thinking it wasn't going to be you. You played a number of games for the Oilers. You were not going to be on.
You know what? I think that it's very unexpected. You can't really see whatever's going to happen in these kind of situations. But with being out of the lineup last 2 games, I thought that was a good sign. But at the same time, I think that things change fast in this game, and it gives a guy a mix of emotions for sure.
They're an organization for a long time that's been known to play the game from the net out. What do you know about their systems or styles versus how you fit into it?
I mean, I haven't got the run through on everything yet, but I mean, from playing them, I think that they're a playoff team, and they're definitely going to be very successful going into the playoffs. I think that I'm excited to be a part of that for sure, and I want to make sure that I establish my game there and make sure that underneath the rules of their systems and the way they play, but I'm excited just to add my kind of style and really just excited for the opportunity. Yeah, actually, I've already been in contact with Petrie, so hopefully that kind of makes things easier, I think, moving forward, knowing a familiar face. So.
You'll tell him you can play the left side, you can play the right side.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that later, but yeah, no, that wouldn't be too bad.
Is it difficult for you flying back with a team that was your team, or is it or not?
You know what? I think it's a nice little send-off. I think it's a great time for me to express myself to the boys and make sure that you know, I kind of make my last little impression here a good one. And you know, I love those guys in that locker room. I've been a part of the Oilers since 2010, and I think that you know, it's a tough one for me to walk away from for sure, but also a good time for me to say goodbye and move on to my next chapter in my life.
Were you surprised when you were called in and told you were traded?
You know what? I was just as surprised as anybody would be. I think kind of as soon as you
So if you tell us about the trade, the player you're letting go to Montreal, but more importantly, your thoughts on Desharnais, who comes your way.
Well, first on Brandon Davidson, I think he's grown as a player, at least since I've been here, and I thought he was a good, solid player for us last year. He played up in the lineup a little bit. This year, with the injury, he got off to a slow start, but I think he found his game, and I think he's a good young, competitive defenseman, and we traded him for David Desharnais, more veteran player, has playoff experience, pretty good success in the draw, not this year, but he has had good success on the face-offs. A lot of playoff experience. I've seen a lot of him in the East when I was with Ottawa and with Boston, so know the player well. His year hasn't been great. He started off with an injury. He's been in and out of the lineup, but strong two-way player. And strong on the puck for his size, protects the puck, and will give our coaches some flexibility in the lineup. I think he'll bolster our third line. So that was the reason behind the trade, and we were able to get it done today.
Concerned that you would maybe lose Brandon in the expansion draft anyway, so you're at least getting a player back?
I think you just have to accept you're going to lose a player in the expansion draft, and if we were letting the expansion draft drive our decisions, while we have to, it's in the equation, Jim. It just we thought we might lose him, we might not, but it wasn't a real big part of the equation.
The face-offs part of it. Obviously, you've seen the team not do well. Is that one of the reasons you got Desharnais as well?
Well, and again, he hasn't had great success this year. But he's been a good face-off guy in the past, and he's good by certain zones, so that'll help. He's strong above the puck. He's a good two-way player. He can make plays. So there's a lot to his game that we think will be there. We feel he's a motivated player, which I think is important, and he's got some experience, and I think he'll add nicely to our lineup.
They're reporting that Montreal's retaining 20% of the salaries.
Yeah.
Consideration for you, considering he has a high contract?
Well, we have a certain amount of cap space that I'm comfortable with using. We have to pay attention to some of the bonuses, so it helps.
Restricted, so you'll play it by ear in the summer?
I haven't thought of that.